Yeah, obviously not as much prep needed for this next game, playing back to back against a really good Colorado team. Thought we did some good things, but their experience and kind of kicked in and took took advantage of our miscues and stuff and won a game. So we're going to have to turn around and play on their court and see what we got.
Jamie Vinnick.
Hey, Coach, does it kind of feel like the team as a whole has hit a bit of a freshman wall just because of the youth that you guys have?
I don't know what you call. We're trying to avoid the easy out, which would be our youth. But I would say objectively, that's probably a fair statement. It happens to teams, even older teams and that. But, we got to get back. Some of it's been we're that, like I said, the thin backcourt and Noah having the tailbone stuff, I think, effective. I think he's getting better there, but you get it again in practice. And, and get some guys back in the mix can affect your team sometimes. But
how has it been a challenge at all just to kind of keep the guys focused on Colorado and not have them look ahead to UW later in the week?
This first I thought of it. So, I think we just honestly focus on Colorado. It's winter time, and I think once that game ends, then certainly playing UW it's on Sunday. It's not till Sunday too, so there's a little time to get geared up for that one.
It seems that obviously the defense has been a little bumpy lately. You've said that kind of. I think even Ryan said it too, that you get back to the principles. One thing that has seemed to happen is on closeouts, especially on the perimeter, it seems that there may be instances where guys are closing out too hard and getting beat off the dribble. Is that something you've noticed, or am I just crazy?
You're pretty observant, Jamie. A little bit. It started. UCLA is hard to keep in front of you. They just kind of run four guards at you, and we struggled. And a little bit as a youth with FA having to guard out on the floor when he has to guard, guys like that. That's not something he's familiar with, and making that adjustment. But that's fair. And then, like, when we played USC, we were so concentrated. If we were going to give up something, we were going to make sure we're going to defend inside. And we're going with a hard closeout just to keep them off the three. And I think that probably started. And when you have a young team, we got to be careful in tweaking our fundamentals, like what Ryan says. You got to get back to what we do. And even if it's, that'd be my assessment, is that we're trying to acting like as a staff, like we've got some savvy vets that can make adjustment game to game. And I think we probably need to curtail that a bit.
And then it's been a bit of a cold stretch for Andre. I think he's 5 of his last 22. Is that a situation where you just tell him to keep shooting because he is a good enough shooter, or have you tried to tweak some things with his approach to the game?
You know what? As a freshman, the three areas that I'm concerned about the most was defensively, rebounding, ball handling, and that's why he stays in there. Like we're a better team when he's in the game. We're a really good team when he's making shots. And it's just trying to keep him not press as much. I know he wants to, and I was like, look, this is, don't let your mind go. Otherwise, don't doubt yourself. More moment, like you're on the scout and you're playing starter minutes and you're going through a really good league. And I've coached enough guys, and rarely do you have a freshman that has a strength and like determination. He's a stress absorber out there, and don't let that weigh on you. That'll turn around, and that's kind of my message to him. And they're closing out harder. He had a couple of big games or made some threes, and that's how it goes. And he moved up a little on the scout, I imagine, where they're trying to take things away, and it's no different than a NFL quarterback when they're those coordinators will figure out, like, we'll see if he can throw the outs or whatever, and they adjust their D, and you see guys struggle. So he's getting through it. He'll be fine.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Good luck this week.
No problem. Thanks, Jim.
Ryan Root, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. How would you say that Isaac is feeling heading into this road trip following his struggle against Colorado last week?
I thought Isaac played pretty well against Colorado. He had a little stretch. It was Utah that he had a little struggle. He's all dinged up, but I thought I think he was 8 for 20 against Colorado. And we know we got off to such a good start and good in the lead, and he had probably one of the best perimeter defenders in the country in Parquet. And or Parquet. I'm not sure how he says it. So it'll be hard to re-rally and have to go against that guy on his home court. But I felt good about that because I think he was disappointed how he played against Utah. And I say that happens, and he was able to flush that, and we came out with a good mindset against Colorado and just couldn't hold on to that lead.
What would you say the locker room environment is like heading into this road trip?
Good, actually. We had to do a little soul searching yesterday, and just say the same thing, getting back to basics, getting back to or just talking about our core principles, attitude and work ethic. And yesterday we were really lively in practice, and it was good to see. And it's like and the message was it's got to be organic. It can't be fake. And you notice that there's a little more enthusiasm, and we got to be just for each other and get out of our own heads a little bit. And it's not just when you're worrying about others more than yourself, things will work out, or you'll feel a lot better about yourself too. It's funny how that works.
With the recent struggles as of late, do you see any drastic changes with either the starting lineup or the rotation in these upcoming games?
Not as of yet. I think we haven't got a lot of bench production, actually. I think our starters fared pretty well. We had some shooting struggles, a couple of them, but and I think that's where, Ryan and DJ being back, and that's gonna mess up your team a little bit, one way or the other. It's just hard to. That's one thing I haven't figured out, and I don't know many coaches do when you have a guy that's out with an injury coming back, or guys in this case multiple guys. So we need to settle that in. I think both those guys will help us because they're in pretty good position where they went out, as far as just we were settling into they're good role players. I think they really enhanced the other guys, and some of the other guys that were playing in their spot were freshmen and just still trying to find the way. So we'll strike a good balance there, and we got to find guys we got to get our defense back where we can help there.
It seems this team's first two scoring options this season are Isaac and Noah, with the third option being sort of a wild card this year. What are your thoughts on finding that third option as of late?
I think it's you got two options there, and they're both young freshmen. I think in Deshaun and Fa, and them they kind of complement each other well on the offensive end. It's just a matter of getting them, and then Andre should be the nice blender there that kind of gets other guys shots, gets himself a shot, and that's where kind of falling into that, trying to sort that out. But Deshaun's a young guy, but he's probably our best low post scorer. I think anyone who watches knows that. Then Fa can stretch the floor, and he's also good in the post, but he also get on the offensive glass and getting those guys the foul line. They draw fouls, so it's just a youth. And I said to Deshaun, I said, Patty's a good. He's smaller than Deshaun, but he's mentally tough guy. You don't see big guys that are just kind of that competitive, and he moves well and all that stuff. But he's a leader of that team, and so that's a good one for him to emulate. And I think that's where we have to understand. That's where we can. It gets us more shots when we shoot the ball from three better. I think that's a function of putting it inside, playing inside out, and getting those guys more confident, more comfortable.
Thanks, Coach.
No problem.
Theo, go ahead.
Yeah, what's been the challenge for FA against some of these bigger, more experienced Pac-12 front court players, especially the last 5 games?
I think it's Pac-12. I think they're again little Andre's deal is that he's on the scouting report. It's got a lot of attention. It's part of the deal is handling success. It's good to get there. It's good to get recognition, get to notice, and know that hey, these guys. Whatever Colorado's, let's say Dallas Walton, he's I think at least a fourth, might be a 5th-year guy. Patty's a 3rd, 4th-year guy. He's only his 3rd year. Did he redshirt a year in there? Is he only a sophomore? Yeah, he redshirt or something. He might be a redshirt junior, regardless. So those are big bodies, strong, and they're just not used to it. And FA, he'll get stronger too. He's actually put on about 6 pounds, which is good for when he got here, because in the middle of the season you lose some weight, so that's a good sign. But I think it's a strength and conditioning factor. I think that's just really that's why you wouldn't want to be in a situation where you're playing 2 freshmen, but they've earned it, and now they got to develop that ability to do that. And those like Colorado comes to mind, they've done that. But And Utah's bigs aren't much older, but they've got a year under their belt. Like Carlson, good player. He's a good freshman last year, and Batten's older, and Tunin, good body, and he's a sophomore. But so I think let's get through this, deal with that. I think that's a challenge. And the second time around, he should be more prepared.
Has he been pretty positive despite not getting the same kind of production he was getting in non-conference play, and kept his head up and been willing to kind of work through these Pac-12 growing pains, I guess? He's
got an incredible attitude and really big growth mindset, and certain frustration, but I think it's he gets down on himself more than anyone else, so he's fine. He just has a high bar for himself, and I'm trying to keep him like, I've seen this, I've been through it. We can't deviate and just keep working at it. It's the only way to fix it. And don't let your mind, you control your mind, and you got to stay positive and keep working at it and watch yourself. And he's diligent about it and confident that he'll keep punching through.
Is there anything you guys can do to kind of take McKinley right out of a game, or maybe at least limit him a little bit tomorrow? Obviously when FA fell on him, that was I talked about Dr. Henry clearing him for the second half, but I think we were doing a good job on him early in the game, and Noah did a good job. Noah got in foul trouble. We had to we had to play zone, and they really hurt us in transition. So it's hard to take him out of transition. He's so fast. They're so good at it. Us transitioning the zone was harder. And they're good. When they go small, they are really imposing to guard, because you got to deal with his ability to penetrate, distribute, play in the middle of the floor, and then they'll put lineups where they got Horn, Walker at the 4 and 5, and then like Maddox and Parquet, or what am I missing? I feel like there's another shooter Schwartz. So they can put like 4 shooters around them, and in transition, that's where they're really tough, because we're matching with Deshaun and FA, again, freshman. Probably where you get exposed as much is where they're used to just running in the paint, trying to find their guys, and like, no, they're not in the paint. And then Walker's sitting in the corner, so that's where he becomes really tough to handle. But you got to keep him in front. I thought Noah did a good job. He got foul trouble. We had to make some changes there, and it cost us in a little stretch. What are your thoughts on this UW team that you guys see on Sunday that obviously lost 7 in a row and then really kind of turned it around last week with wins over Colorado and Utah?
I saw a little bit of them. They tweaked their zone. It looked like they're playing a little matchup. Showed zone and played matchup against Utah, and a little bit of the same against Colorado, and vice versa. I can't remember which one. But you know what? I think they settled in to. They got some of their, like Stevenson seems like he's a lot more comfortable. And their point guard's good, Green. So I think the perimeter's hard to handle. Bay has really come on, and then they got weapons like Sahonis off the bench. So they're hard to guard one-on-one, and the bigs are good. So they just kind of settled in. They probably shortened up their lineup. They were trying to play probably 9-10 guys, and they weren't together. They weren't cohesive, but it seems like they've kind of figured some things out. And, I think they probably found something when they played UCLA. They had a chance to beat them down there, and probably felt pretty good about the way they competed. And it seems like they carried it in the next week.